Holy freaking shit, that was crazy. Okay, Emily, I think we might have a problem, I said, turning to her, as she had a crazy look on her face. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, are you absolutely sure that you need this guy? He's out of his freaking mind. Rambling on about the strings of destiny and tundras of wills and clashes. It's fucking ridiculous. This guy clearly has some freaking screws loose. Lots of them. I can almost hear them rolling around in there. And everything he says is so fucking creepy. I'm telling you, don't trust this guy. I mean, there are plenty of other programmers out there. We can find one that's not so, well, crazy as hell and slightly maniacal. It's not that simple, Emily. We've already spent a few days traveling to find this bastard, and supposedly he's supposed to be one of the best there is. When it comes to winning these races, I'm going to need every advantage I can get, and having a shitty programmer isn't going to help my odds. Jax, you can't be serious. He was talking about a process to make you more than human. Sounds like a freaking mad science experiment. Like he's gonna stuff you in a test tube and plug all sorts of creepy freaking wires into you. I can totally see this guy strapping you to a table and laughing maniacally while he cuts you apart. No freaking way, Jax. I'm telling you, this is bad news, and you need to find someone else. Who, Emily? Do you have a line on another expert programmer? I mean, programmers are pretty far off and in between. At least one's worth a shit. I mean, this guy's gonna have to handle all of the programs that interface with the weaponry, with the motorcycle, and anything that I carry on my person. Having an expert programmer is integral to having functioning equipment. Trust me, I think he's batshit crazy too. And this bullshit about some shadowy figure talking him into helping me in exchange for being my saving grace, what the hell does he get out of it? I mean, he already told me what he's getting out of the deal between me and him, but I still don't know what the hell this shadowy figure offered him. He made 2 deals. He has to see 2 profits, but he still hasn't opened up about what exactly this supposed shadowy figure is offering him, which only brings more questions to it. The biggest one is whether there's a shadowy figure at all, or whether he's just fucking with my head. And quite frankly, neither one seems favorable. It's all a fucking mound of bullshit. And the kicker is, he's so fucking crazy, I can't tell what's bullshit that he just might believe, and what's bullshit that's actually somewhat true. I really can't tell. He's just too fucking crazy. I mean, holy shit. I did not know what I was stepping into when I came to this place. But no matter how many times I question whether getting into a deal with this guy is worth it, I keep coming back to the simple fact that I need a fucking programmer. Can't do without one. One that's quality. One that works. As much as I don't like the fact that he's batshit crazy, I also need the work he provides. The Black Label races are closing in. The time gap between now and when they start is getting shorter by the instant. I already wasted 2 days traveling all the way the hell out here. And trying to find another programmer is probably going to waste even more time. The Black Label races is less than 2 weeks away. No, wait. Excuse me. Less than a month away. I probably have about 3 weeks. I forgot that they changed the freaking date. Which gives me a little bit more time, but still, not much. And having to network to try to find another programmer at this point is going to take way too much of the freaking time I have left. And then on top of that, I'll have to go and try to cut a deal with them too. meaning more time for travel. And on top of that, having to cut a deal with whoever the hell they are. And then there's the matter of whether they'll be worth a shit or not. I could waste an entire day or two trying to find another guy after wasting another day or two looking through hacker selection just to find somebody who isn't worth a flying crap. And before you know it, an entire week's gone down the drain with absolutely nothing to freaking show for it. Shit. This whole situation sucks. Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna have to make the best of a bad situation. Batshit crazy or not, I'm gonna have to accept this guy's deal. You can't be freaking serious, Jax. Remember, experiment, science project, guinea pig. These are the thoughts that need to be entering your head right now. If worse comes to worse, we can kill this guy. I mean, he does not look that imposing, even if he does have some danger to him. I doubt he has what it takes to take you, me, your brother, all at the same time. So I'll cut a deal with him. He becomes the programmer, and we agree to this process. But we throw in some caveats of our own. Such as, if he's bullshitting us, we freaking kill him. I think you, me, and your brother can handle a 50-year-old guy with a cane. Crazy or not. So, all that's left is to wait for this crazy motherfucker to get back and cut the deal. And just hope that it's not a complete and utter waste of my time. It was at that point I suddenly heard a clamoring. Something that sounded like someone dropping a box filled with pieces of metal or pots or pans or something. And then I heard the guy in the suit yelling, "Oh, no, you buffoon! You're just messing it all up. Just get out. The tea outside is probably cold. Change it," he shouted through the walls of whatever room he was in and whatever he was doing. And then the door to the room opened up. I don't know who I was expecting to come out, but I most definitely wasn't expecting who I saw, or what I saw. Opening the door and exiting the room where the man in the pinstripe suit was a robot. At least I think it was a robot. It was about 3 foot tall. The entire thing looked like it had been slapped together from tin cans or something. Its entire body rattled every time it moved. The tiny little tin can robot closed the door behind it as it came out of the room, before beginning to shuffle its way over to the table, stopping and looking up at me, and Emily as we were looking down at it. Then beginning to make strange noises, a series of clicks and beeps. I mean, this thing clearly had a mouth, but every time he opened it, it was just some discordant mix of technical sounds. Whirs, beeps, clicks, and none of it meant anything to me. But the robot's gesture itself seemed somewhat friendly. It waved at us, the metal plating composing its arm rattling as it did, before turning away and going back to what it was doing before, heading towards the table, climbing onto one of the chairs and picking up the teacups that had been set down, placing them on a tray with the teapot, and then taking it all and climbing its way back down from the chair. The entire thing was just noisy, like someone carrying a bag of cans around everywhere they go, constantly hearing the tiny clanks of metal against metal. What a racket. The next thing I knew, the door to the room that the man in the suit was in opened up again. "Oh, and Mr. Jangles, if you make Windsor tea again, instead of making Shire Green, I'm going to throw you into the recycling bin. Do you understand?" The moment that the man in the pinstripe suit shouted out of the room, the tiny little robot almost seemed surprised by it, jumping in place for a moment as if he was startled, and somewhat intensifying the shaking of its body as it held the tray, the cups and the teapot on it shaking a little bit more heavily, making little clanking of their own, as the tiny little robot beeped back at him with that same mixture of discordant clicks and beeps. "Oh, don't even get started, Mr. Jangles. You've done it 4 times just this week. So don't hand me that nonsense. Get it right," the man in the pinstripe suit shouted at it, as he closed the door, going back to whatever he was doing on the other side. And as he did, the tiny little robot, who was seemingly trembling, I suppose, began to, what I imagine, was mock him, cocking its head back and forth while moving its mouth and beeping, like that thing that people do when they want to talk crap about you, but don't want you to hear it. So the moment you walk away, they start mumbling to themselves about how you're a dick. That's most definitely not something I expected to see out of this tiny little robot.